Hey YouTube, welcome back to UniXTCG, and today we're going to hop into a card game that we have not touched in a little bit since the how-to video I did a little bit of over maybe a month ago or so, and that is Battle Spirits Saga, with the Vegas launch event in about 2 months, which I am trying to go to with a couple of friends. I think that I wanted to step into my Battle Spirits Saga content and familiarize myself with the set 1 starter deck card pool while helping the community get familiarized with it too. So we're going to talk about the tribal archetypes one after the other in these videos, go through the cards, talk about their mechanics a little bit, and basically just try to make a primer for it. And speaking of a primer, if you really need to brush up on how to play this game or want to learn, in the description I'm going to have my how-to video. I was very thorough. Bandai gave me some early information. I was able to kind of go crazy with that, but we should have a good time. And if you want more Battle Spirits content from here on out, make sure you like the video, comment on it, share it with your friends if you want. Press the notification button and subscribe for future content. That way you won't miss a beat and we will ride this Battle Spirits Saga train together. Also, in the description will be links to the Twitter and the Facebook so you never miss a beat on tournament announcements, prizing, any sort of spoilers, things like that, because they're doing a bang up job on that social media. So there, and without further ado, let's hop into it. So first and foremost, just know I'm learning like you're learning. I've been practicing more and more, but here we go. First card up, bang, Rain Needle, okay? This is just a starter deck card. It's a generic 1 cost, and for anybody starting to play this game, you cannot underestimate the power of a 1 cost, because once you know how to play and you understand what reduction symbols do, that little corner symbol at the bottom right, you're going to understand that having reduction symbols or having the symbols at the bottom across your field is going to help you cast cards. That's a little bit too long to explain in this video, but like I said, the how-to video is in the description. Point being, these single drops, I kind of call them reduction rocks because they cost 1, and they cost 1 to play, then you just have to put a maintenance cost core on them, and after that, they make the reduction. Very cool, and likely lots of times your opponent will be kind of weird to play removal on a vanilla, not in a super impactful card. So yeah, these cards should never be underestimated. Starter deck, basis of the deck, just roll with it. Now moving on to the next one, right? We've got Quicksand Dragon, just a vanilla. Normally when you see vanillas, just understand that their levels, which how many cores are on the actual card, the spirit will actually influence how much power they have when they're swinging or blocking. Vanillas don't have effects, obviously, but they generally have very juice stats for low input on the cores that are going to be on them. Now, the first card with effect, we got Divine Halberd Dragon Arc. This is pretty cool. 3 cost, 2 reduction. Pretty good on that one. Now, on his level 1, 2, or 3, neither player's life can be reduced from an attack from a spirit that has 2k or fewer battle power. This means that he's essentially anti-aggro, anti-weenie rush. The little tiny dudes that are swinging at you will not be able to do damage. On the other rim, you will not be able to do damage with your little weenies. However, you can see, like, even the way this card is designed, with 1 core on him, he gets over his own threshold. Now, with 3 cores on him, whenever he swings, he is weenie removal. So this card alone, essentially, is your anti-aggro. Now, moving on to the next one, we got Moonbow Dragon, or Dragoon. This comes from the starter deck. It's just a solid dragon. It's going to be able to come down very easily once you have the correct reduction on board, since it's a 4 cost with 3 reduction, essentially making it a 2 core investment, 1 to play, 1 for maintenance cost at very minimum. And he has Awaken. Awaken is going to be a theme you're going to see very much so in the red archetype, because Awakening is going to be able to shift around cores at a flash speed, and flash happens before blockers are declared, but also after blocking is declared on an attack or a defense step. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Just generic guy right here. Moving to the next one, we got White Hole Dragon. This guy, I believe, is one of the promos for the demo packs right now, but he's got Flash, Awaken. Like I said, Star Dragons are going to show you Awaken quite a lot. And then when destroyed, when he's at level 3, which is a 4 core investment, when destroyed, select one of your opponent's spirits BP equal to or fewer to this one and destroy it. 6k is respectable. You can catch a lot of things lacking with 6k BP, so I actually dig that. If you're running more of a mid-range build, this guy is a pretty good blocker who can block and then take out something else, effectively stopping 2 attacks if they don't sequence correctly. Now, or actually, even if they remove this guy, that's just pretty good. Now, when it comes to Awakening, though, though, you can see that at flash speed, you may remove any number of cores from other spirits and place them onto this spirit. And then wind destroyed effects are not triggered. So if you take all the cores off of a spirit and it goes down into the trash, you don't get the wind destroyed effects, like this one, for instance. However, awakening is cool because you can swing with one of your dragons and awaken lots of cores to it to pump it up to its higher levels. Then you can swing with the next dragon and flash, awaken, do these things. So awakening is actually a pretty strong mechanic once you get the hang of it. You're just gonna be careful about purple because purple will be able to, if you take things down to one core, purple will be able to snipe those in the flash step potentially and really kind of mess up your board. So moving on to the next one, we got Galaxy Dragon and Dromitos. This is from the starter deck. Levels 1, 2, and 3, when you summon a Star Dragon Spirit card, count each symbol in the spirit as 2 symbols when calculating cost reduction. So this is a reduction rock. On top of that, 2 and 3, when this spirit attacks, reveal top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Star Dragon, add 1 Star Dragon card from the revealed cards to your hand, return the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. So right now, this is filter. And it's actually going to be a reduction rock. I think that's pretty cute. I don't really see this meeting the momentum of certain decks, but I think this card is cute. I also like how it doesn't say red Star Dragon Spirit, so if we ever see Star Dragons in another color, not sure if Battle Spirits will do that, this could potentially bridge the gap when you're playing with multiple colors. Next, we got another vanilla Phobos Dragoon, Star Dragon, good stats, easy. One core on him for being a 4K is pretty strong, puts him out of removal range for a lot of things. Next, you got Nebula Dragon, 6 cost, 3 reduction. While this spirit attacks, count this spirit symbol as 2 red symbols. So this is another, as long as it has a soul core. So this is another reduction rock, but you need the soul core on it. And that's kind of interesting. When it comes to flash effects, I guess it doesn't really matter too much because you'll be playing all of your cards for the most part before you hit your flash effects. But just know that if you are attacking and you plan to do any sort of battle tricks with magic, purple once again can use things like Core Theft, which is a card we'll get to whenever we get to the purple archetype, and they can just remove the soul core off of this before you can flash in your cards since you're the attacker and your flashes go second. So yeah, just things to note. And if I'm saying a lot of lingo that you don't quite understand yet, like I said, just understand that you will probably need to watch the how to play video, and we'll get more and more into that. But then you got Nebula Dragon Andromeda. This is from the starter deck, and it's actually one of the best cards from the starter deck. Regardless of the level it is, when you summon and put the maintenance cores on it, 1, 2, or 3, you're going to select an opponent's spirit with 3k or less, which is a lot of stuff in the early game, or one of their nexuses and destroy it. Nexus removal is very important because a lot of decks get a substantial boost when they can establish their nexus and play off of it, such as red with some of the nexuses we're going to see later in this video, white with like its mecha beast nexus that counts as 3 reduction on its own. Yeah, there's a lot of good nexuses in this game, and this card is a great card to snipe it. Next, you're going to have Confront. Confront is a theme you're going to see a lot in here as well. Awaken and Confront are very strong with the red cards, Star Dragons and stuff like that. But when this spirit attacks, your opponent must block if able. Now, some people are going to be kind of confused on this. Like, when you look at this game, it has a very unfriendly spirit-to-spirit interaction. When you attack something and it blocks, if your attack is higher than its like defense, than its attack, its battle power, is gonna die. Most people are used to that. Most people aren't used to is if you block something and your blocking BP is higher than the attacking BP, the attacker dies. So that's something that lots of people are gonna have to get used to. And with Confront, if you're already on the offensive, you're going to be able to wreak havoc like on your opponent's board. Like, you'll just wreak havoc on it. If you're swinging with this guy with 3 cores on it, he's a 6k, and your opponent only has 2ks on board, unless they flash something in, you're forcing him to block, and it's effective removal. You won't do the damage, but you're removing something. So that's pretty tight. Next, you got Divine Mars Dragon Ares Dragoon. This card looks amazing in terms of art, but let's look at it. 1, 2, and 3, flash speed, awaken. Cool, it pretty much has to be flash speed. So once again, Star Dragons will awaken. What's new? But this other one, when he has 6 cores on him, while this spirit attacks, when the battle ends, once per turn, you may refresh all of your spirits with awaken. Now, there is a cool thing, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, right? But there's a difference between when this spirit attacks and while this spirit attacks. You're going to see that when a couple things. Now, if I'm not mistaken, while this spirit attacks means that the effect is static when it's happening. When it checks when you turn that thing sideways and declare that you're attacking. The difference from this is if you were to swing, right? And you were to use Awaken and put all of your cores on this to make it level 6. Not this one in particular, but something else with a when attacking effect. The when attack effect won't activate because when you attacked, it was not at the proper level. However, this, while this spirit attacks, allows you to use Awaken to pull all the cores to it. And then while pulling the cores to it, you get the while this spirit attacks effect, and when the battle ends, you may refresh all your spirits with Awaken. That is absolutely monstrous and crazy. So, moving past that, we are going to go to the next card. You've got Imperial Thunder Dragon Siegwurm. This is from the starter deck, and basically, it's going to have Confront, so people have to block it. And then during your attack step, all of your spirits with Awaken gain Confront. So if you have a bunch of big, powerful Star Dragons with Awaken, your opponent's field is pretty much going to break themselves upon your body because every time you swing, they're going to have to mow their field. So it makes it very hard for your opponent to set up an established board, which also means you're going to be messing with their reduction cost because you're going to be getting rid of all the bodies that give them their reduction. See how that works? Pretty tight. Next, you got the de facto boss card coming from the set, Titular Spirit. This is Supernova Dragon Siegwurm Nova. Look at that. It says, rather than tear him apart, the soul core energy pulsing through his body caused him to evolve. This is a direct evolution of the Siegwurm we just looked at from the starter deck. So this is actually pretty ballin'. So he's an 8 cost and he only has 3 reductions. So raw, he's gonna be at lowest 5 without outside help, which we'll get to later. And you've got Ascend costs 6 or more. As an additional summoning cost, you must place all cores from one of your spirits that cost 6 or more into your reserve. Excellent. So you have to play him. He's a fat boy, and on top of that, you're going to be sacking something with 6 cost or more. Now, all of his levels, he's going to have Flash and Awaken. Very cool. All of his levels, he has When Summoned. When this spirit performs Ascend using a spirit with Siegwurm in its card name, the card from the start deck we just looked at, you may place a soul core into the void. If you do, place cores from the void into your life until you have 5 life. He is a full life rejuvenator at the cost of your soul core. This is very, very strong, and there are combos that you can do this with later. Now, you have this when this spirit attacks, and this is level 2 or 3. Select any number of your opponent's spirits when combined with a combined total cost of 10k or fewer BP and destroy them. So this guy is a terror. At just 3 cores on him, he's going to be able to swing and blow up to 10k. Combine this with the fact that he has Awaken, you can have some nasty combos with Divine Mars Dragon, Ares Dragoon, where you can swing with this guy and he's going to blow up everything. When the spirit attacks, he's going to blow up 10k worth, and then you can swing with Divine Mars Dragon, Ares Dragoon to untap your cards with Awaken, and guess what you get to do again? Very, very, very powerful. So moving on, we are now on Nexuses. This is Star Altar, and Star Altar is a starter deck card. We're going to kind of be a little harsh on this one, but during your attack step, when one of your spirits, the soul core on it, is destroyed, select one of your spirits. Place all the destroyed spirits' cores onto it. All right, very lackluster. And if you can put 3 on an altar on this Nexus, and you'll find when you're getting the flow of playing, it's very, like, the secondary effect on a Nexus is generally the cream of the crop. You play it for the first effect. The second effect, in most cases I've seen, it's the harder effect to get to, harder to allot to, and it's normally icing on the cake. But this one, during your attack step, when one of your Star Dragon spirits is blocked, you may exhaust this Nexus to refresh it. That's pretty cute, but 3 is a hefty investment. But it can be played for pretty much 1 later on, so that's actually really nice. The soul core thing kind of hurts. You know, you've seen your boss monster, the Siegwurm Nova, that's going to get rid of your soul core, so this could be useless later in the game. In the beginning of the game, it's kind of like interesting because they could just choose to not destroy the one with the soul core on it And then this doesn't really get an effect, so we're gonna move on. Next, we got Where Stars Are Born. When placed, reveal one card from top of your deck for each star dragon you control. Add one red spirit card from the reveal cards to your hand. Return any remaining cards to the bottom of your deck. During your attack step, for 2, when you have 2 on it, one of your spirits that costs 4 or more attacks, select one of your opponent's spirits with 1,000 or fewer BP and destroy it. Okay, I'm gonna say it right here. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This card looks like cheeks. Honestly, first off, you need an established board to play it. If you only have one Star Dragon, you're looking at the top card of your deck and you're hoping it's a red spirit. It could be a Nexus, it can be Magic, it could be a splash card if you're swapping colors. This is not a good card to play because you already have to have an established board for it to literally get one card and potentially bottom deck a lot of good cards. On top of that, during your attack step effect for level 2, 1,000 is a very, very, very low number. So yeah, we're gonna skip over that. Next, you got Sacred Thundering Peaks. You got level 1 or 2 during your attack step. One of your spirits is destroyed via comparing battle power. So basically, if your spirit blocks something, or and dies, or you swing and they block and you die, select a spirit that costs less than the destroyed spirit from your trash and return it to your hand. So a little bit of a cycle, but it doesn't cycle from your board to your board, or from your trash to your board, and vice versa. It cycles from something goes from your board to your trash, and then something goes from your trash to your board. Cool. 2, during your attack step, when one of your spirits with confront attacks first during the turn, is refreshed. So after a 3 investment, once per turn, it untaps one thing and it's got to have confront. It's a little narrow. You want to find nexuses that overall help your deck function, but some of these are very, very narrow. Next, you guys should remember this from the starter deck. You got Scorched Battlefield. Level 1 and 2, all your red spirits gain 1k BP during your attack step. That's actually pretty significant. Then 2, during your attack step, draw a card when you reduce your opponent's life. This is actually a very cool effect. However, it is a little costly, and it requires your opponent not to block or have some sort of battle trick. So there's a lot of factors that have to come into play for this draw to work. So it's a little situational, but draw power and an extra boost is not bad. But then you have its superior older brother. This is Volcanic Canyon. Level 1 and 2, during your draw step, draw 1 additional card. After your draw, discard a card from your hand. So you're going to draw twice, then have to discard a card. If you stack them, because you're activating them one at a time, you're going to draw for turn, then you're going to draw with 1 Volcanic Canyon, discard a card, and you're going to draw with the other Volcanic Canyon, discard a card, because you have to resolve them one at a time. Now, with 1 on it, that's a very low investment. During your attack steps, all of your spirits gain 10k BP. Is it not hard to see how this is literally Scorched Battlefield, but just mechanically better? 1, you're drawing the extra card at the beginning of the turn no matter what. It has nothing to do with what your opponent's doing. If your Nexus is there, you're seeing another card. But 2, for 1, you get to now have all your spirits gain 10k or 1,000 BP during the battle step, the attack step. So that's actually pretty wonderful. Now we're going to move on to Magic, and this is the last leg of this video before we kind of start talking. You got Landmine. Burst. When your opponent destroys a spirit, select one of your opponent's spirits with 3k or fewer BP and destroy it. You may then pay this card's cost to activate its flash effect. Its flash effect is just mana or flash. Select one spirit, it gains plus 2k BP for the turn. This is a trigger. Well, it's a burst, so you can put it in the burst zone. You can only have one of those cards face down at a time. When your opponent meets the requirements, you can play this, get that effect, and then pay the additional cost for the other effect. This comes from the starter deck. It's neat. 3k isn't bad, but it's when your opponent destroys your spirits. They need to either destroy your spirit, you need to block, and then have it destroyed. Either way, it's a little slow. Next, you got Flame Breath. Burst. When your opponent resolves a spirit's when summoned effect, select one of your opponent's spirits with 4k or fewer BP and destroy it. Then you may pay this card's cost to activate its flash effect, and its flash effect is just going to give 2k BP for the turn. This is not bad, actually. 4k is a respectable number and can actually clear quite a lot. Next, you have the goated one, Starve Less Draw. Burst. When your opponent resolves a when summoned effect, draw 2 cards, and then you may pay this card's cost to activate its main effect. Just having a Nexus and a Rain Needle is going to reduce this down to a 2 cost. And what that means is your opponent plays a when summoned effect, and you flip this out of your burst zone, draw 2, pay 2 cores, draw 2 more. This is a huge swinging advantage and is one of the best, if not the best, draw card in this entire game as of set base release. So yeah, get your playsets of this. If you want to bling out your deck, good luck. Like, this is just like looking pretty good. Like, we already know how Bandai does like alt arts. Looking at the colors of these, I don't see how Siegwurm Nova and this card don't instantly make like alt art status. Like this is just a cut above anything else I've seen so far. Like this is just, it's ridiculous. And also Siegwurm Nova is like literally on the booster pack. If the face booster pack card doesn't get some sort of special rarity or alt art, I don't know. I don't play enough Bandai games, I guess. Firewall, next card. You have got Burst. When you lose life, select one of your spirits. It gains plus 4k BP for this turn. And then you may pay this card's cost to activate its flash effect. Spirits with 4k or fewer BP cannot attack during this turn. So this is going to really stop a whole lot of rush. And I think if your opponent was setting up a weenie board and you just flash this in, I mean, of course you're going to take the attack. You'll maybe block the attack, flash this in. But this is actually really cool. It could stop a whole slew of things from happening. Unfortunate part is it is only one reduction, so this is always going to cost 3 at minimum, and that's kind of a lot. But it's cool to have a burst when you lose life. And then since it's going to gain BP for the turn, it's going to put itself out of range of a lot of red cards. You're going to see red card normally destroys your opponents based off of BP. This is going to put you out of range, so that's nice. Next, this is a starter deck card. You got Charge Draw. It's a 4 cost, but the reduction is 2, so you're going to be able to drop it down to 2 cost. Ideally, main, draw 2 cards, main flash, select 1 spirit, it gains plus 2k BP. Really, this is just a draw card. You're going to be using it to draw. That's it. That's really it, bro. And then next, you have Big Bang Energy. This card is kind of insane. During your turn, all Dragon Spirit cards in your hand have a cost equal to your life total. And then you have, it being a 4 cost with 2 reduction. So effectively, if you get down to 2, 1 life, something like that, even 3 life, you can play Big Bang Energy for 2 as long as you have 2 reduction on board, 2 symbols on board, and that's going to make all of your dragons cost 3. Now, if I'm not mistaken, like if you have 3 life, 3, 2 life, 2, 1 life, 1. Now, if I'm not mistaken, what happens here is the cost is the number in the upper left corner. Reduction symbols are separate from cost. So if something has 3 reduction, but you make its cost 3, you should be able to play it for free and then put 1 soul core on it to maintain it on the board. Which means you can put out a huge board, allowing you to do things like Big Bang Energy, Star Dragon, Star Dragon, Star Dragon, make sure one of them Siegwurm, then play Siegwurm Nova for free, put a core on it after you ascend the previous Siegwurm out, and then go from whatever low life total you were at to 5 by yoinking your soul core out of the game. This is actually a really cool card and is seemingly the top end of Star Dragons. Next, you got Volcanic Break. This is a pretty fast and easy card. Main flash, select one of your opponent's spirits with 3,000 or fewer BP and destroy it. But if you spin a soul core and it's casting, you're going to be able to destroy something with 6k or fewer BP instead. That's just trashing your soul core. You're not removing it from the game, you're just trashing it, which will come back next turn. If you send your soul core to the void, there's no way to ever get that back until they make something like that. But for now, you'll be able just to bring it in and out of the trash at the beginning of your turn when your core step happens anyway, so, or refresh step. So that's pretty cool. This is a flash mechanic, and it's gonna 6k is really respectable. 3k is already respectable. 6k is very respectable. Next, you got Burning Force. Main, select one of your opponent's nexuses and destroy it. Pretty simple. It's gonna be a 3 cost though, even if you have the maximum reduction, so that's a little rough. But main / flash, select 2 of your opponent's spirits with 3k or fewer BP and destroy them. That is very powerful. Its main and flash ability is pretty powerful. Like I said, 3k is a respectable number, and until mid-game, people won't really be outstretching 3k, so this is going to get its mark. So, from what I can see here, the Star Dragons, because some of these cards are generic, and I'll have to re-go over them in some other videos, but right now it seems like Star Dragons are all about setting up these big bodies with Confront, so your opponent has to block you, Awaken, so you can shift your cores back and forth, and red in general is fast and furious. There's a lot of draw, there's a lot of destroying things based off of BP, there's a lot of BP raising, and that's going to allow you to hit fast and hard. Build up your hand with these dragons with high reduction costs, play them out, Big Bang Energy when you're in a corner, cheat card after card after card after card out, and then go in with these dragons. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm a red player in a lot of card games. I like that fast, furious lifestyle, but I cannot wait to see what the rest of red has to offer, as well as the rest of these other colors. So if you like the content, let me know. Let me know what you think about these cards in the comments, and I will see you in the next Battle Spirits video. Or if you want to, One Piece or Dragon Ball Super. play a lot of Bandai card games. So thanks. See you later. Peace.